Morning, lovelies. Hope you are all okay today. It's nearly the end of the week already. How on earth has that happened? Want to talk to you today about internal dialogue. It has been such a trend for sessions this week. Negative internal dialogue is where all you can hear in your head whenever you're making a decision or whatever you're doing is like this negative, critical voice. What are you doing that for? No, you don't want to do it that way. What would other people think? What are other people thinking about you? You shouldn't wear that. All of these sorts of things are a negative internal dialogue, and they really cause massive amounts of havoc with what we are doing. So I've spoken to quite a few people this week, and a lot of us have similar backgrounds where we've had difficult childhood. For me, it was mum particularly, and what have you. So if you think about it, if you have childhood where you are not boosted, your self-esteem isn't boosted, and what have you, and you end up with this critical voice in your head, which is your parent, on at you all the time and what have you. If you have that, then you go into relationships where actually it seems all great at the beginning, but much nearer the end, all the nasty stuff comes out, how dreadful a person you are, all of these sorts of things. So you've got the level from mum already, then you have a level of another relationship. And then because you're attracting those kinds of people, it keeps going up and up and up until you've just got these several layers that need to be broken down of this terrible negative dialogue, by which point you completely believe all of these things. So if you've not had a successful relationship and you keep going from bad relationship to bad relationship, you're quite likely to turn around and be saying to yourself, well, the only common denominator between all of these difficult relationships is me, so I must be the problem. So then all of the negative dialogue turns into you telling yourself that all of those things are true, all of those dreadful things about you are true, and they're not. These are just difficult, broken people reflecting onto you their own difficulties. But actually what happens is we take those in and they become our truths and our beliefs, but they're not true. They're limiting beliefs that are stopping you from getting where you need to be. So what is the first step? What is the first way of getting through this? Because by this point, it's probably quite damaging in your life. The first thing is to get to know who you are. I remember when I had split up with my husband and it had come and smacked me around the face that I'd lost my identity. I'd been somebody's wife, I'd been somebody's mum for such a long time. And because I'd had to take on this character to be able to stay until I was ready to leave, I really had lost sight of who I was, because this character had to be believable. This character had to make sure that she was doing certain things, keeping him happy, making sure that she'd got things in place so that when he'd been drinking, there were things that I could do to protect myself, all of these sorts of things. So this character that I'd taken on wasn't me. So there's another element of me that I had lost. And I remember sitting on the sofa waiting for Owen to come home. He wasn't due home for like another 24 hours, but that's literally what my life had become. I was somebody's mum, and when he wasn't there, I sat. And it's not like I sat having quality time. I literally just sat. And it was literally waiting for that next bit for him to come home. And I thought, God, what are you doing? So the first thing I decided to do was I was going to write a list of all the things that sparked joy in my life. It took forever. It was terrifying that it took forever. But here I was trying to work out what I even loved, what sparked joy in my life. And, I had the usual things like, time with my son. I can't even remember what the early things on the list were, but there weren't very many. And I suddenly thought, God, I just do not even know what I really, really like. It's going to take me time to get to know each other. And that's what I then spent time doing. I spent time getting to know me. I talked to friends, and when I say friends, I mean the tribe that was still there, the people who totally had my back, to find out, who am I? What am I doing? What am I like? Obviously, some of those things weren't particularly great, but by this point, I wasn't very well. But they were there for me, and anything that they told me, honestly, which was a bit more difficult to manage, it was said with love. It was said with complete love and support and what have you. But they also told me some things that I'd lost about myself, some of the things that I used to do that I didn't anymore. So getting to know yourself is the first key point when you've been in this situation, because if you don't know yourself and if you can't stand tall in who you are, then actually the reality is that you are not going to be able to have the confidence to turn around and say to your internal dialogue, no, that is not me. That is not who I want to be. I want to be a different person from that. And you're lying to me. I have the complete capability of making a choice about who I am. You are lying to me, and I don't want that anymore. I don't want to believe you. I know that I am X instead. I know that I'm strong and confident and independent and able to make my own decisions. I know what I like, I know what I don't like, and what you're telling me is not true. So it is literally being able to stand up for that. But if you don't know yourself, you're not going to be able to do that. So why not start a conversation with me? Why not get chatting and see how the services that I have can help you in your own individual circumstances? I am not a salesy person. Do come and have a chat with me, but please do not ever think that it is with any sort of obligation. And let's see what your situation is. Let's see how we can help you. But if your self-esteem is at an all-time low, then maybe it's time to do something about that. Maybe it's time to unpick, rather than just the symptoms, let's unpick the root cause and start doing some work on that. I would absolutely love to have any of you. So please do reach out, send me a message, send me a text, send me an email. I don't mind how you reach out and make contact, but it would be lovely, lovely to speak to you and just see what you're experiencing and how I might be able to help. In the meantime, lots of love, and I will speak to you guys soon. Take care.